before we get started, just make sure that you guys either sign in with this QR code or the link in the description. All you have to do is sign in with that link and it lets us know it goes through our referral. So it just basically adds another person that's done it through a referral. It really helps the club and our school. So please do that. Thank you. Also, guys, just a reminder that the IBMZ online career fairs are going to be coming up soon. We have the dates on screen, and if you're a Western student, it's going to be April 12th. And just know that you need to get your Xplore badge, just the concepts. So, keep doing that, and we hope to see you there. All right, we are now on the real deal of mainframe. JCL, Job Control Language. Um, so, let's get into it. This is it's commonly used. It's only used on the mainframe for just scripting, right? It's commonly used with COBOL to feed data sets to COBOL, and then the COBOL actually implements logic. But it's really just for like scheduling tasks, batch processing, things like that, right? Let's say you're trying to make a end of day data collection or backup. That's what you would use JCL for. You can't do too many complicated things with it, and it's not a very complicated language. The syntax is very confusing if you're a programmer and you've used, common programming language, but it's actually pretty easy once you get into it. So yeah, let's get started. So have your stuff ready, and then this is our high-level query. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that right now. Actually, um, I already did it, but I'll just show you guys our user ID and then all the public data sets, and then I'll just refresh it. All right, so first step, we're going to go to the public.jcl, which is where we've been a lot for submitting dataset or submitting JCL jobs, sorry. And we're going to submit JCL setup. So what this is going to do, it's going to create a bunch of partition datasets full of JCL code, stuff like that. Not reset actually. Do setup, and then we'll submit that job. And you can, if you actually look here, hold on. So you can see here what we're trying to create. We're trying to create a load dataset, a JCL dataset, a source dataset, and an output dataset. So we can see we submitted the job with return code 0 at the bottom there. And then we'll go up here and see, and we'll hit refresh. And we can see we have JCL, no datasets found yet because what we're going to be doing actually is copying them over. In fact, these are all going to be empty for now. So the next step is to, oh yeah, we just talked about how, we submitted that job and it returned with code 0. I also talked about that in the previous videos just to get a head start on it. But yeah, general rule of thumb in JCL is you want to see return code 4 zeros. Return code 0 means nothing went wrong, okay? As soon as the numbers start climbing, there's like boom, error here, boom, error here. Okay, we don't want that at all. All right, so copy and paste JCL1 member from zxp.public.jcl. So where we just were actually, and then JCL1. So copy member and then bring it into our, whenever I say our whatever data set, I'm talking about our is our user ID. So our JCL data set, and we're just going to copy it, keep the name the same. Okay, so what this is intended to do is, it's just, if you guys see these errors at the bottom, it's just, you're just going too fast, I think, is what it is. So, what this is intended to do is to take a data set from public and copy it into our data sets. So whenever you see this and ampersand sysuid dot, that's inserting our user ID. Okay, so you see that we have it here. So what we're trying to do is copy JCL2 from public into ours, and then we have another job here, copy JCL3. It does attempts to do the same thing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and submit it. Um, and then we'll just wait here. Okay, we got 0012. So if you remember what I was just saying, as soon as those numbers start climbing, those errors start coming, okay? That's not what we want at all. So I just want to quickly explain what we're actually doing here to copy these data sets. We're using this program, uh, we're executing this program, IEBGEnter. I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically this program is simply meant for copying data sets from one place to another, okay? So I'm gonna actually get into some of the parameters here, and I want you guys to see if you can figure it out yourself. So these parameters are linked in the Explorer, but this is just from the documentation for the job control statements for IBGNer. Um, so you can see we have one job, starts the job. Okay, perfect. Job. And then you can see we have exec. All right, we're executing this program. We're telling it to execute this program. All right, so these two steps, you can see they have this color comment sort of. These two steps are they're special. Okay, these can sort of be whatever they want. These names right here. Everything else past when we start the job, it cannot be. It has to be the parameters that we're actually supposed to be using. I guess that's why they're colored differently. I didn't even notice that until now. But yeah. Um, so sysprint defines a sequential data set for messages. So wait, basically what that means is just if you, it's basically for like I guess for debugging, right? How you add print statements to your code when you're trying to debug. It's sort of just like that. It's more optional. That's why we have it to asterisk. It'll just do the default. Okay. The next one should be sysut1. Okay, and the sysut1 is the input data set. Okay, so the sequential data set, member of a partition data set, or PDSE, which is partition data set extended, or a Unix file. Okay, so you can see we already don't have that. Okay, sysut1 is down here. So I'm gonna copy that up here and bring it here. Okay, because this is our input and that's where it's supposed to be. Next one is sysut2. You can probably guess what that is, the output data set. So it defines a sequential member of partition dataset or PDSE, which is partition dataset extended, um, or a regular partition dataset, or a ZOS Unix file. Um, so we can see we have it here, but it's not in the right spot. Everything has to be in the right spot. So I'm going to cut it and just put it here. And then you can see we have the last one is sysndd. Defines a control dataset or specifies dummy when the output is sequential and no editing is specified. So to put it simply, the control dataset sort of just brings in other parameters into how the JCL executes. We're not actually going to be using any of those. I don't even think in any of the modules. That's more for your own experimentation. But yeah, just know that it's sort of like you're passing other, it sort of executes the instructions differently. You're telling it to do things outside of just what's in the JCL that maybe you couldn't put in that JCL or whatever. So you can see they put sys input. It's supposed to be sys in. Okay. All right. So we know that this job is going to copy JCL2 just purely from this, and we know that this is going to copy JCL3. Well, we know that we have this correct because we're following the parameters, right? But this is still wrong, right? So sysprint is where it should be. Sysin is supposed to be at the bottom, like we just put it there for the control data set. And you can see now we have sysut2, which is correct, right? We're specifying that we want it to be outputted to our user ID, just like here. But this is supposed to be sysut1, right? 1 is input, 2 is output. So make sure you guys save. I have autosave on, like I said. But just make sure you control S, because if you submit without control S, you're just going to keep getting errors. We'll submit this following job, and then we'll... Oh, you can see it really told us quickly that we just got it right. So good job, guys. So I just want to close this and reopen it, and you can see, boom, we just copied. So that's pretty cool, right? It's actual, sort of like an actual script that we've just written on the mainframe. JCL1 and then JCL2 and 3. So we're going to be continuing with these for the rest of the challenge. All right, we're going to start with JCL2 though. Yeah, so let's get into that. All right, so this one is actually executing COBOL. So for those of you who don't know what COBOL is, it's a language where you actually if you think of JCL as like, the scripting language, maybe like a Python script that's really just for automation, but when you're really doing the heavy stuff, you need the performance. What do you use? You don't use Python, you use C, right? The COBOL is like the C of the mainframe. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably how I would explain it. So you can see there are a ton more instructions here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want you guys to focus on this part here. So you can see we're specifying, um, we're executing this IGWCL. Basically, this is another thing like IEBGENer, which copies, but this is for executing COBOL code. So we're taking COBOL.sysin, the source code, and we're actually linking it to binary, right? We're compiling the code into binary, just like how you compile, well, any code, right? Compiles, but like, you compile it into a binary and then you're able to run it. All right, so if return code equals 0 on this, right? Because if it's not 0, then something already went wrong. We don't want that. Then we are running this program. This is the actual name of the program, right? So we can see we compiled it from the source into the load, and when we execute this program, it's going to the binary here in the load folder, um, and it's executing there, right? So um, yeah, you can see sysuad dot load. Um, all right, so we have these parameters here: first names, L names, and combine. So if we actually check out the COBOL code, we'll go to the public source datasets. We can sort of you probably okay. Essentially, what it's trying to do is take first names and last names from different datasets and assign them to combined, right? So all right, everything looks, it probably looks okay. So let's go ahead and submit it. And you can see we get abend, which means abnormal end. Okay, that's not good. That's just like getting an error message. Well, not just like, but sort of just think of it the same way for now. So if we head back over here, we can see, all right, actually I want to have them both open at the same time. So I'm going to open up COBOL 0. Okay, I don't, okay, it just opened it back up. But anyways, you can see that here we have select first name assigned it to F names, last name assigned it to L names, and then we're first last, which is the combination, and we're assigning it to combined. Okay, that's the step in the JCL that we're assigning it to. But if you look here, we can see we have combined. So we need to add the D to there because it's just wrong. It's you're giving it a null pointer essentially, right? So we're gonna submit it here, and then we're gonna get return code 0000. It's active. You can see I just keep clicking and refreshing it because it's actually going through it this time. And you can see we got perfect. So, if we want to actually look, we can see. I know these steps are a little bit different. They're going to be different for whatever you're using than the last one we did for copying. You just have to read the documentation. But yeah. So where we're putting it is in our user ID.output. So if you remember from the beginning, if you try to open it, it was empty. But now we have names, right? And it's all of the names. So if you check in input, there's F names with all the ones in the first column, and then L names with all the ones in the second column. Okay. All right. So perfect. Now we have one more thing and then we're done. So we're going to open a personal copy of JCL3 in our own data set. And basically, we're just going to submit it first because that's the first thing that if you don't have something, if you have something that you can look through it, but you don't really ever know if code works until you run it, right? And you can see it does work, right? We got 0000. Perfect. So I just want to refresh here so we can see what we got because Um, you can see sysut2, we're using the same thing here, IEBGENR. And what we're doing is we're copying whatever we get from this, which we'll see in a second. There's no input here, right? Because all we're actually, hard coding it in. But where we're outputting it is in just .jcl3 out. All right, so you can see here we have a NYC mainframe train schedule peak hour operation. So okay, all right, we see. All right, okay, awesome, awesome. Oh wait, okay, there's two here. Okay, that's bad, but we'll keep on. Okay, okay. Okay, whoa, whoa, there's two here again. Okay, come on, like, all right, we can't have two mess ups like that, right? That's just unacceptable. This isn't what they're paying us for. So, what we're gonna do is go in there, and I want you guys. I'm pretty sure that you guys can figure this one out yourself. So take a second and figure it out. But pause the video. But I'm just gonna go down here. We see we have beacon twice, just simply there. And then the other one we had was Cortland. Um, so let's go down here. You can see not only do we just have the text twice, but we're actually specifying that we want to like this entire thing we want to copy into JCL3 out. So what this whole code is doing is essentially it's instead of copying a data set, we're specifying with the asterisk, it's taking the actual text that we give it in this argument and it's outputting it sequentially, just like it goes in order, like how you have an if-else statement. And then if you want one if statement to be checked first, you put it up there. That's how they're hard coding it here. So we're just going to delete this entire thing. You can see that they're all separated by comments. Also, if I submit it with this line here, it wouldn't work. Okay, white space. A new line is not just a new line like how it is in most languages, right? The only way to do a new line is with a comment, which is dash dash asterisk. So we'll do that. Save it. I have autosave, but Control S, and then we'll go ahead and submit JCL3. Oh, I also forgot. You have to delete this first. It won't overwrite it. There's a way to overwrite it. You can just specify that you're trying to overwrite it in the parameters. We're not gonna do that right now, but just make sure that you delete it, or else it just won't ever it won't ever show the new one. So let's go ahead and refresh, and then perfect. You can see we have it here. No duplicates. Cortland is once, Beacon is once. So yeah, we're good. And then that was everything, right? So we're done. Before we submit, I just want to let you guys know what they're checking for. They're checking for that we have the correct metro schedule with no duplicates, that we have these copied in here, and that we have the combined thing with the correct data sets. So make sure that if you guys followed what I did, then you're good. But just make sure, But you're about to find out. We're just gonna go to check JCL1 and then submit it, and then we will see that it's active. All right, you guys should know by now, especially after this module, we're looking for boom, perfect, beautiful. That's what I like to see. Let's head down here, and then I really recommend me reading this because I sort of said how it was a scripting language, but they do some more analogies, I guess. Um, Maybe for yeah, exactly. And then this is just what I said. Run this program. The input is f names, l names, and output is l or sorry, combined. Um, all right, so now take me to the JCL1 challenge PDF. Let's go over there. And this is just the PDF. So I already did that in my slides. I put all of these slides each of my slides, I put all of the steps that they go through in the JCL1 PDF. So if you want more information, I highly recommend you check those slides out. But we're going to check the submission. Make sure that you have code 0000 because that's what you need, like always. All right, you're going to earn that no matter what, but we still have to make sure that we get this. You can see we got it right there. So yeah, that's it. This is sort of getting over the hump. It's one of the harder ones that's in all the fundamentals and concepts. And also a fun one in my opinion. So yeah, but the rest of them are pretty fun too. So stay tuned. The next one's going to be I think it's going to be USS, Unix System Services. So that one's pretty cool. You get to use Linux on the mainframe. So yeah, stay tuned.